All right, welcome back to the Canadian Bro Show. Here we are in our human glory. None other than... My name is Paul Bale. I'm the founder and host of the Canadian Bro Show, and the handsome gentleman to my left is none other than Mr. Trent Rowley from St. Paul, Alberta, the co-host with the most. And we welcome you back to another episode of basketball from the Hoopjunkies, Pauly and Rowley. And I'm just, as you can see, the subscribe button creeping down on the Air Jordan poster. That's so awesome. Please, if you enjoy this content, subscribe, like, comment. We really appreciate it. The channel is growing, and it's no thanks to you subscribing, commenting, a lot more comments, and we're banging out more content. So thank you for joining us today at All Basketball with the Hoopjunkies, Pauly and Rowley. We're actually doing episode 49, and that is week 19 in our second season at the Canadian Bro Show. And, normally we like to talk about all things basketball. However, this week, with the not much going on in the WNBA, and the March Madness is a couple of weeks away, and the NCAA is sort of finishing it off. So we're going to be doing a specific March Madness show, talking more about the NCAA and the teams that get picked and our picks and so on at a deeper dive, as in our particular, we play Yahoo NBA Fantasy Basketball 9-hoop category, and we're going to talk about the waiver wire connected. We're going to talk about the schedule this week. It's a really important week because we're heading into the playoffs next week, and some of us are in the playoffs. I've secured playoffs on 3 of my 8 teams in first place, which is great. So I know I've got buys, and I know that I can let my team get healthy. And then Trent and I like to freestyle after we get through the categories in the schedule and the Yahoo Fantasy into the East and West, and our NBA insights and what's going in as we get closer to the remainder of the year. We're looking at approximately 20 games remaining in the NBA season. Trent, how are things going in St. Paul? You got dumped on? We were talking yesterday. You got dumped on again?
Pardon me, say that again?
I was saying we got dumped again. You got dumped on again yesterday?
Yeah, it's never ending. So.
So this is normal this type of year, right?
No, not usually, but like it's going to get warm and it's going to turn into rain. So
yeah, of course. And how big's your snowbank in the driveway now?
Big enough. Yeah, big enough. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I love it. Anyways, everybody, we're going to hop right into it. I like to, in preparation for this channel, I don't really need to because a lot of it's up here, but as you get older and you get busier, I want to make sure that the content that we're providing is 100% correct, or certainly very close without too many mistakes. So I do lean on professionals in fantasy basketball on YouTube, like Dan Titus and Dan Bruno and Josh Lloyd. And there's a few others that I won't get into at this point. I'm going to save that for an episode I do the beginning of next season, or maybe we do it at the end of this year. I don't know. But Dan Bruno he works for RotoWire, and he did a really good breakdown of the schedule, and it incorporates a lot of what Dan Titus does and what happens over with Josh Lloyd at Monster Basketball. And Josh Lloyd, who I think is probably the number one fantasy preacher in the world today, and certainly hope he's getting paid for that. But navigating a busy fantasy basketball week starts with mastering the schedule. We've talked about this every single episode for 2 seasons now, and the more you get into it, the more it benefits you. And both Trent and I are prime examples of that, because Trent, in his 2 teams in Yahoo, both of which were competing against each other under the same banner of the Canadian Bro Show, we really get into the schedule, because if you don't, you're going to find yourself missing out on opportunities. And with the sheer number of injuries and trades and laziness of the 21st century of players, taking games off and personal leave and, faking injuries or having injuries and not having to come back to next season, or having no injuries and then the team tells you have injuries and you're out for 6 to 8 months.
Exactly.
Utah Jazz is a prime example of shutting down 3 players because they needed to get their top 8th guaranteed pick in the draft. It's utter complete bullshit. Pardon my French.
They traded for an injured player on purpose. Like
a guy that's worth $250 million.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just sheer madness. But let's get into a little bit more practical stuff. Navigating a busy fantasy basketball week starts with mastering the schedule, as I opened up with several teams playing 4 games, and you've really got to find as best as you can at this late stage in the season. Good luck on the waiver wire. It is absolute garbage at this point. And there's a few guys around. I'll mention that after this segment. But in the meantime, you've got to just hope that the guys on your injury reserves are coming back. Ice Cube, Trae Young apparently is coming back on Thursday. And Devin Booker came back last night. And I'm just mentioning guys that all my guys have been down. Stephen Curry, I hope he comes back because I've got him and Trae on 3 of the same teams because I was drafting the last pick in the 10th round of my 8 teams on 3 different teams, and I went with Curry and Trae Young, and I thought those would be really good. And they were for the first 15 games of the season, but Trae Young's been injured and then traded. So it's a complete, it'll drive you nuts if you don't follow the schedule. Let's just get back into our regular, that was my Canadian Bro Show song from my old teammate, Chris Wright. And at the end of the day, there are several games playing 4 games. We're going to get into that. And a pair limited to just 2 games. We won't even talk, well, I'll mention them, but we just avoid them. Understanding lineup volume is absolutely crucial for maximizing production during the week. In 9 category Yahoo Fantasy, Trent and I, if we're playing against each other, we play against each other for 7 days against his squad and my squad, and we go for 9 category points, everything on top. As an example, on Monday, I started off, we're playing with Trent in one, and I was up 9-0 after Monday. But Trent didn't even flinch, and came back very strong. And I think you're up 5-4 in that now.
You know what? It's 7-2 now, and I think
7-2 for me.
Yeah, we're going to be first and second in that league, so it's a bye either way. Finishing first overall for the season, great. It's a little bragging rights, but other than that, I mean, you're 8.5 behind. You might be able to catch me this week.
No, I don't need to catch you. I'm happy finishing. Well, exactly. Look, I want you to finish first, and I want to finish second. That's my goal.
Last week was, or next week is the last week of the season before playoffs, and I play the 10th place team in our league. Oh yeah, so, it's
going to be a walkover. You should ask him for a trade, actually.
I actually have put a couple out there, so they're a little wild though.
Any takers?
No, not yet. But I'm kind of conceded that you're going to win this week against me because games wise, I mean, I've had 2 nights. Like tonight's another night. You've got like 5 guys. I have 2. The first night of the week, you had 6 or 4 or 5 guys, and I had 0. Right. Yeah. And so I was just like, here's how it's going to be. This week might just be that team in that league. I'm in first for a reason. There's not a lot of guys I can dump and go and grab anybody off the waiver wire that's going to replace them. So I just kind of have to eat it this week and go, hey, let's not hope it's a real, hopefully it's not 9-0. It won't be. But, you probably don't catch me. Either way, we're going to be first and second in that league. Yeah. So we're both getting buys. So
listen to what we're saying, because this is exactly the sort of mentality that you need in fantasy basketball 9 categories. I completely agree with you, and you're absolutely right.
I mean, it sucks. You're not trying to lose, but at the same time, the playoffs are coming. I'm not giving up guys on my lineup.
Exactly, and that's really good points, Trent. And understanding lineup volume and scheduling is critical, as Trent and I are talking, for maximizing production. Lighter slates, which for this week, as Dan writes, are critical for maximizing production, as I mentioned, and including on light slates on Monday's matchups featuring the Rockets and Celtics, the Nuggets and Clippers. Love me some Nuggets. Chicken nuggets or nuggets with Joker. Love them. Got a chance to win the NBA this season. Create prime streaming opportunities, while managers should lean into teams like the Celtics, the Lakers, the Suns that offer 4-game weeks. We've said this every week for 2 seasons, and it's absolutely paramount. And if you don't have teams on that, find a way to partake in it. You could lose one player and gain 2 if one comes off the injury reserve.
Yeah.
Pick up one, and all of a sudden you've got 4 to 8 games extra for that week from doing that. And Trent and I both agree that on Mondays, when we want to start strong and it doesn't look that good, we will go through 2 of our 4 waiver wire picks for the week on a Monday if there's something juicy available, because having that Monday, Tuesday start strong is excellent. You don't want to be down 9-0 going into Wednesday. In a regular Wednesday, the weird thing about it, Tuesday, Thursdays during the last 2 seasons are usually slow off days. For some reason, the NBA switched that, and now they're 2 of the busy days, 2 weeks in a row. So
it's because they are showing national televised games, right? So there was a game on ABC on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
There's a game on Thursday night and Saturday night. So
also with their $88 billion TV deal, they added 2 new. They added Peacock. They added. I mean, they're just adding everybody to make more money.
It unfortunately does suck though, because you don't get to see Barkley Smith and Eddie Johnson and Shaq very often.
Right.
It's just not like it was with TNT.
No,
and every second night with TNT, you got to see those guys.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's fun. But I mean, I get them on YouTube the next day or later on that night, and I can catch up. But that's a good point, Trent, because I miss those guys. And so 4-week games. Meanwhile, clubs such as the Hawks and Cavaliers may require short-term pivots because they only play 2 games. And the spotlight is going to be on the Heat, the Pelicans, the Magic, and the Suns are favorable matchup targets to help you squeeze out every possible edge from your roster decisions. Days with fewer than 6 games. Now, these are absolute people. Just because it's a light slate, if you can dominate in 6 games, can really help you get through midweek into the final 3 games of the week and give you the momentum from Monday, Tuesday. So you do well Monday, Tuesday, you have a strong Wednesday, even though there's only, 5 games tonight? 6 games, I think. And then you get into Thursday, and Thursday's normally not that big, but it's really about finishing strong Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And if you can get players, if you have picks by the end of the week that give you, Sunday, Monday, and you get someone like Sadiq Bey, who's just been going ballistic with the Pelicans, which I picked up and benefited tremendously. Because he's playing out of his mind right now, and he's trying to get paid, obviously. But getting back to what Dan Bruno was talking about, days with fewer than 6 games, these are the dates to target players from streaming options from the following teams. On Monday, which we've already done, so I won't even mention it. I'll just go straight to Wednesday. We do this as best we can on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, depending on the schedule, depending on what the NBA has added or taken away. And there's actually this season, there's been 4 or 5 games that have actually been canceled for weather. So there's a number of things that can happen, but make sure you activate players and target weekly pickups from the following teams. All these teams have 4 games. The Celtics, Hornets, the Mavericks, Pistons, Rockets, Clippers, Lakers, Heat, Bucks, Pelicans, Knicks, Magic, Suns, Spurs, Jazz, and Wizards. Teams with fewer than 3 games this week, consider looking for streaming options if your roster includes players from these teams. The Hawks have 2 games and the Cavs have 2 games, but and
the thing is, against you in our league, I have James Harden, and so I get 2 games out of Harden.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason that team is doing so well is because the top 2 positions are Cade Cunningham and James Harden.
Yeah, there we go. So it goes a long way. If you've got a guy like Harden or Cunningham that's giving you 45 to 65 fantasy points in one night, man, that's 120 points in 2 games of the week. That's a lot better than scrubs.
There's a reason I'm 50 games over 500 in that league.
Wow. I mean, and Trent's never been shy about tooting his own horn. Top teams based on favorable matchups, Miami Heat versus the Nets. Hornets, the Nets twice, Hornets once, and Pistons. The Heat enter the week, and by the way, thank God the coach is playing Kelal Ware. I'll just leave it at that for now. We'll talk about that later. But the Heat enter the week with an ideal chance to build on their 18-11 home record. Honestly, it's hard to believe they're 18-11 at home. But
the other thing on that, though, when it comes to that kind of schedule, go take a look. I'm not sure if you watched. I was going to text you last night and say, don't bother watching the Spurs Sixer game because it was like. No,
don't. You don't have to tell me. I'm all over it.
It was a 50-point game.
It's embarrassing. The blowouts in the NBA, it's embarrassing. It should never happen. But teams are tanking and they don't care.
Okay, well, Philly's not tanking, so I mean.
Yeah, they are.
Sitting out. Everybody's sitting out, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're tanking. They're trying to position themselves, but they're not only tanking; they're injured. They don't have any. They have no bench, and their big man, Big Africa's always injured, and Oubre is their best defensive wing. He's gone. They traded away, Jared McCain, who's having a great time at OKC.
Let me get to my point. He's just going crazy.
I know, but I'll get there on waiver wire. I got to finish the article here.
That's not what we're talking about. I didn't want to talk about. When you bring up the schedule, though, remember when the teams have really easy schedules, you have to be aware too, because all of a sudden, in games that are 30-point blowouts, which seem to happen a lot in the NBA, all of a sudden that guy who plays 30 minutes a game on a crappy team, well, now he only plays 22 minutes that night because it was a blowout, and now his numbers aren't going to get to what you need them to get if you're picking them up. So you have to be wary about the teams too. Because of that, because there are a lot of blowouts in the league. Like I just don't ever remember seeing it like that, with teams just getting beat by 25.
It's embarrassing. I mean, being a fantasy expert in today's fantasy basketball in the NBA is extremely challenging. And this is why we're doing the show, because we want to help people, educate them about how to, as best you can. I mean, I can't believe how well my 8 teams are performing minus the 2 and 5th. Which I might be out of the playoffs depending on how I can finish this week and next.
I might sneak into second in our other league, in that platinum league.
Yeah.
I might sneak into second place in that league. I'm trying right now.
Well, listen, it's not all about Trent, although I do appreciate your confidence and bravado. Let me just finish talking about so people can finish with the schedule. The Heat enter a chance to build on their 18-11 home record as they clash with the slumping Nets. And the Nets are just another team that's tanking, and they're absolutely horrific. It's brutal. They should just sit everyone and just play their first-round draft picks and people that nobody knows. They could put a team out there where people in the arena, they'd be looking at each other going, "Who's that? Who's that guy?" Because I mean, it's a joke. There are EuroLeague teams that would destroy probably 8 of the worst teams in the NBA right now. I'm telling you, it's a joke. As they clash with the Nets in back-to-back games. Okay, that's not a clash. That's 2 easy wins. And the Nets have dropped 8 in a row, so they're certainly not competing at their highest level, obviously. And at this point in the season, they also give up in the league's 4th most points in the paint, because Claxton really is like $1.95 at 6'9.5", and he's really not a center. But if you look at their lineup, they don't really have a center. So it's amazing that an NBA team doesn't have a rotation of 3 centers, but 3 6'9" guys pretending to be centers. It's insane. Yeah. So they also have to give up the second highest field goal percentage, the highest 3-point shooting percentage. In other words, if you want to play the Nets, it's a win. Just make sure you win. You do not want to lose against these teams. Up next is a meeting with the Hornets, who are playing extremely well. They've won out of the last 14 games. They've won 11, and they're.
I want to see Charlotte win in the play-in and get into the actual playoffs.
Yeah, that would be exciting. I'd love that.
They're just fun to watch.
I mean, they're playing so right now that when they traded for Kobe Wright, who's a really good, decent point guard in the NBA, he didn't even play last night. He got 0 minutes because they're stacked.
They got Knipple, man.
Oh, please. Stop it with that guy's a total stiff, man. A complete stiff. A 7'1" stiff. He's old school 80s, 90s center. He's slow as molasses. He doesn't show any passion. He blocks maybe 1 shot every 3rd game. Nobody gives him the ball. They don't run anything for him. It's just. Knipple. Oh, not Knipple. I'm talking about the big 7'4", the big. No, it's this whole sexualization of names that you love to just play with. It gets me all discombobulated. But let me just finish my article, please. Good Lord, you talk about is Johnny here? Is Johnny's just Captain Interjection, man? It's incredible. But anyways, Trent doesn't need to hear because he's got to get this show done so he can go out and do. I guess have a bowl and sit in the jacuzzi. I'm not really sure what he's doing. But in the meantime, I'm trying to finish this because I'm trying to give people information. And at the end of the day, the Heat, for some reason, Spo has decided to play a player who he's benched the last 4 weeks.
Yay.
And what's that?
I said, yay.
Yeah, thank God, because Trent picked him up, and I had to pick him up on 3 teams that I dropped him on because of injuries, and nobody picked him up because he wasn't getting any. He was getting 11 minutes a game.
Double machine if he plays.
Oh, he played great last night. And at the end of the day, the Heat give up the league's 4th most points in the paint because they play with the 6'9" center, and that is Bam. And that's why they need Kalel there, so Bam can play the power forward and Kalel can play the 7'1". Like, people don't realize the kid's he's got the 2nd longest reach in the NBA behind Wemby.
You should give Spolster a call. He probably could do some advice from you.
He'd hang up on me and tell me to F off. Who am I?
Exactly.
Right? And so, and really, and the Heat also have one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the league, and they're also one of the worst turnover teams in the league because their point guard is really a third team point guard. He's not a starting point guard in the NBA, in my opinion. That's been proven, but for some reason, Spro thinks he is. Well, they don't have any point guards, and that's why they have Zemi Jacquez and Pelle Larsson and guys like this that are not point guards, that are combo guards, that are actually averaging close. I mean, the 2nd leading assist person on the team is Zemi Jacquez Jr., right? I mean, he's coming off the bench, but he has a good chance to win the 6th man of the year this year, and I think he will, and he deserves it. And so the Hornets are just playing unbelievable basketball, and it's spirited, and the young coach, who is a disciple of Pop and a few other successful, has done a very good job with this young team, and they're healthy, and they're playing with machismo, and they're exciting to watch, man. And plus, by the way, one of my favorite, the guys that call the game, Del Curry and his partner, who I love, they are the most exciting. They're so fun when they do a game, when the Hornets are playing well. It's really enjoyable and entertaining. But, nobody talks about some of the things that the reason why the Heat does have pretty good combo guards and off guards and small forwards, wings, is Andrew Wiggins, our Canadian friend, one of my favorite players, is averaging 18 points a game in the last 5 games and is slowly turning his game around. He's not injured. He's not taking games off. He seems motivated. And right now in the NBA, as Marcellus Brucelis has turned his ankle last night, Marcellus Brucelis is the best leading off-guard small forward wing in the league at blocking shots. Well, guess who's overtaken him recently? And that is Wiggins. Wiggins has had 3 blocks 4 times out of 6 games and 2 in the other games. So that's really impressive. Even if he has a not a great day and a guy gets 3 blocks, I'm happy, because blocks is one of the hardest categories in fantasy. And if you can take that from somebody else and give up turnovers, like my problem, a lot of my teams is turnovers. I don't care. I punt turnovers. So, what's happening is that you can look to exploit a couple of weaknesses, as the Pistons gave up the most 3 throws and the 9th most turnovers per game. And guard play, once again, has to be a major factor. And it's really hit and miss. Not anything to do with their starting point guard. It's their backups. And the same on the Heat. They really don't have a lot of options. Davion Mitchell is, like I said, not a starting point guard in the NBA. Norman Powell's been injured again. And so you have to lean on guys like Wiggins and Jamie Jacques, who's averaging 16 points a game, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, a couple of threes. I mean, he's really giving you, across the 9 categories, a lot of really good juice. New Orleans Pelicans. They were the worst team in the league in the first half of the year, and they're still one of the worst teams, but they are starting to be healthy, and they're starting to listen to their new coach. We'll see how long that lasts. And the Pelicans play the Lakers, Kings, Suns, and Wizards, and the Pelicans are 6-4 in their last 10 games, which for them is pretty good. But they, basically sit out 10 games of the final. They're out 10 games in the final play-in. So why am I mentioning them? I'm mentioning them because their first opponent will be the Lakers, and the Lakers are on the precipice of slipping out of 6 if they don't get it together. And Reeves, and we'll talk about that later, Reeves has been really struggling coming back after missing almost 20 games. At the end of the day, the Pelicans take on the floundering Kings, although there's some nice performances, which we'll get into next in the waiver wired connected. And, there's some good opportunities there. Delonte Murray is finally back. It's going to be interesting to see how what happens to Poole. I think Poole could be out of the league in a couple of years myself. I think he's one of the worst overrated players in the NBA. As soon as he got his money, he's like, thank you. And look where he's at. And it's not looking good, bro. And
he got punched in the face.
Yeah, well, it's not intentionally, of course. Everybody loves him. And then, of course, you're talking about the other side of the ball. You're looking at guys like, I have to bring up guys. I won't even bring it up. I'll wait to the next thing. But at the end of the day, the schedule with the teams I talked about is what you really want to focus on. Roll the dice with everything else. And the next phase is going to be waiver wire connected. It's going to be really a quick one because there's really not a lot of talent available on the waiver wire. And Trent and I are very fortunate. We've been padding and stacking our teams over the season to get into this position at this time because either everybody's injured or it's a bunch of 10-dayers and a guy that you've never heard of. There's a couple of guys, I have no idea who these guys are. So thank God I've structured my teams with regards to injuries and trades and looked at the schedule like Trent has, and both of us are in really good position. Trent's got a chance to win a couple of championships, one easy, maybe another, and I got a chance to hopefully win 3 or 4. That's my goal out of my 8. But if I can get top 3 in 6 of my 8, that gives me trophies in all 6 teams and potentially championships, silvers, or bronze. Getting into waiver wire connected. Before I mention some names, Trent, is there anyone that you scooped recently that you feel that can help you at this point, or you're pretty much jammed?
Well, what you just said, right? It's who am I going to
let go?
1 week after this week. We got 1 week left before the playoff, and you get a bye week. The bye week my luck, it'll be every guy on my team will have 4 games in the next week. First week of the playoffs, everybody will have 2 games. That'll be my luck. Yeah, you know what? I actually did today just because he plays 30 minutes a game, sometimes even more, and he's going to play now that Lou Dort's suspended. As I went and picked up Cason Wallace again, he's going to get you numbers in every category.
He's going to get you stocks.
And exactly, and I actually did on both teams today. I picked up Cason Wallace and dropped Kelly Oubre because he doesn't want to play anymore. That guy, he sat out the other night in a back-to-back for rest, and now he's missing tonight because he's sick. Like, come on, man. Like, just hang it up for the year then. Like, don't toy with me. Like, that's
they're toying with everyone. This is what the NBA is allowing, right? This is what teams are allowing.
I got Zubac sitting on the bench on injured reserve on both teams, and I told you last week I don't think he's going to play another game this year because Indiana's tanking. He won't,
and that's why you got to try to trade him.
Yeah, I did. Believe me, I put in a couple trade offers.
All right, so I'll just go through the waiver wire connected. This is a segment we do. We named it after Dalton Connect with the Lakers, who we thought was going to have an opportunity to really make some movement in the NBA, and he's done absolutely nothing. Apparently, he likes to drink and smoke pot, and really, that doesn't work at that. It doesn't work. Well, I mean, it works for some people, I guess, but at the level in the NBA, the kid is, they're hoping that he's going to have a good summer and maybe turn it around, but I just don't see it. It's really unfortunate. 17th pick. Everybody had high hopes, and it hasn't worked out. But the limited resources that you have, and I'm having to deal with a couple of teams that are tanking, and I've got, how do I film my roster with centers? All of a sudden, Yahoo, out of nowhere, gives G.G. Jackson a center designation. Small forward, power forward, center. Now, he is 6'9", but he's 195 pounds. Yeah. So they gave him center because they don't have a center. EB, our Canadian Mountain, 7'4" Mountain, is done for the year. Basically hasn't played because he needs ankle surgery again. This is the second ankle surgery and 6 ankle turns in 2 years. Honestly, I love the kid. Not looking good. If you're 7'4", 350-pound man and you got ankle problems, your career is going to be cut short, and I hope not. I'm just telling you from past experience. G.G. Jackson is active, long, athletic, and can fill the stats right across the board if he gets the minutes. And in the last 12 games, he started 10. And his numbers are respectable and decent, especially for the center position. He's giving you 15 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 5-6 blocks, a couple threes, a couple steals. He's unselfish, and he likes to play. Yeah. So he's a guy I want to take a look at. People that, for some reason, Kyle Filikowski is still sitting on the waiver wire on a lot of teams, and I don't understand. Unless you're stacked at center, he's been playing great. He's averaging 15, 16 points, 8 rebounds. He's a little foul prone, but he's a true 7-footer, and he's got a nice skill set, and they don't have another center on their roster. They've shut down 3 centers for next year because Danny Ainge thinks that Utah is going to be playing for a championship next year. I kid you not. They think they're playing for a championship next year, and they tank 3 years in a row to get there. Is that how we want to watch basketball? It's not how I want to watch basketball. I can't stand it. It drives me insane. Filikowski, if he's there, pick him up. I picked him up because all my other centers are injured or shut down. And there's just no centers in the NBA right now. It's a real challenge. The next one is, Jaime Jaquez Jr. The guy is sitting I can't believe he's still sitting on the waiver wire. Like, just because he's not starting, he is the leading candidate for the 6th man of the year. Look at his stats. Look what he does. He's 6'7", 225. He did 4 years at UCLA. He was 25 years old as a rookie in the NBA. The kid is special. If I had a GM and I could pick up a player, I'd pick up Jaime Jaquez. The other guy I picked up because people, I guess, got frustrated like I did, and I cut Jakob Poeltl on a couple of my teams, and I picked up Jakob in the 10th round, and he was not playing. I was like, wow, nobody wants this guy. The year he had last year, well, the last couple of games have been, decent. And I think, Trent, you flirted with him too, right?
Last night wasn't very good against the Knicks, but the 2 nights before that were decent.
Right, and the game before that was decent too. So I picked him up because I need centers, and if you can give me 10-10 and 2 blocks, I'm happy. I don't care. Kalel Ware, believe it or not, is people have just, like I did and others, they just tossed him to the curb because he's, Spo had him on the bench doghouse, and he was playing 6 to 8 minutes in a game. But when he plays 19, 20 minutes, he's a double-double machine with 2 blocks and hitting 3. So Spo woke up and did it, and now he's playing. So if he's available, he's not available in any of the 8 teams I'm on because Trent's got him on 1, if not 2, and I got him on 6.
I got him on both ours. Yeah.
Exactly.
I scooped him up, so.
And he scooped it from when I had to drop him because I had to get I had to find someone to drop so I could get a better player who was on injured reserve. The other guy, Trent and I both flirted with. Excuse me, I'm still dealing with a little niggling. I don't know what's going on with this flu thing or cold thing in the Okanagan. Or it's not just the Okanagan; it's everywhere. Russell Westbrook, once again, is on the waiver wire. And honest to God, if you need a point guard, you need assists, and you need steals, and the occasional 3, and a 36, 37-year-old that loves to play the game and playing for the worst team in the NBA, he doesn't care. He's going to be on another team next year anyways. Get him. And I almost picked him up today, and I might pick him up tomorrow because I had to see, based on the schedule, how a guy was going to perform tonight before I cut him to see if the injured player that I'd rather cut him with and bring him into my league or into my roster, or if the injured guy is injured again for the 12th game and, oh, yeah, well, we haven't heard from the team. Well, this is the problem in the NBA. Communication sucks, right? Let us know what the hell's going on. It would really help. Josh Lloyd gets into that. It drives him insane without being unprofessional on the show, of course. The next guy and the last guy I want to say is Jalen Tyson. I gave up on him. Trent gave up on him. He was playing great.
I had to.
And then all of a sudden they got injuries again. They got a bunch of injuries.
Well, Mitchell Downey's playing more, but
Mitchell's got a groin injury, and Mitchell always has the same injuries: hamstring, groin, calf, occasional ankle injury, and occasional personal. So he'll take a few days off to, they'll give him, a couple games rest, 17 games into the playoffs, because they really need to perform. And Jalen Tyson, who's one of Mike Tyson's, I think Mike Tyson's got like 9 children. He is in the NBA, and he's 6'6", 235, and I really like his game. He plays defense, he rebounds, he's thick, even though he's undersized, he's extremely strong. He shoots the three, he gets steals, and he's passionate, loves to play, and they're in trouble. So if he's available, Jalen Tyson is worth a hard look. And that is Waiver Wire Connected and the schedule, Trent. Thank you kindly.
I would throw one more guy in there.
Please. I was going to ask you.
Cameron Gillespie from the Suns.
Yeah, he played great last night.
He's been playing great, but he's on a little bit of a heater, and he plays minutes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, they're a surprise team. What the coach Ott has done, by the way, the Ott used to be a assistant coach of the Canadian national team, and he's a good young coach, and he's doing a great job considering what he has, and he doesn't have much. I mean, their team is overperforming, let's face it. But I agree. And who else? Anyone else that catches your attention?
No, that's the only guy I looked at.
The only other guy I would say is Roy Jones Jr. with the Clips. Because he's Derek Jones Jr. and because he's a pogo stick and he's got a 44-inch vertical and
he plays minutes, but he's very erratic.
He is. But I mean, and the problem is their point guard. They don't have a point guard now, so and they're relying on a third-string point guard.
Yeah,
and they don't have a center, and they're relying on a 38-year-old center who I like.
I thought about Jones over Wallace, and
me too. Yeah, me too. But anyways, Trent, let's freestyle. Let's what's on your mind? What's going on with hoops in your mind? What's caught your attention? What hasn't caught your attention? And let's talk about the standings as we get 18, 19, 20 games left in the season, depending on which team.
Up until the other day, or whatever it is, the Clippers or the Cleveland Cavaliers are 10-1 with James Harden in their lineup.
Yeah, yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, again, is Donovan Mitchell going to be hurt in the playoffs? I mean, that's Cleveland's MO lately. That guy can't seem to play the games in the playoffs when it really matters.
It unfortunately happens far too, and it wasn't just him; it was Garland as well. That's why they got rid of him. By the way, Garland played with the Clippers.
He played the other night.
Yeah.
It's even with Garland, and not just Garland. Mitchell's always the last 3 years. He has been hurt and missed playoff games, and that just, I mean, it's tough, right? I mean, hopefully he doesn't. I'd love to see Cleveland. We talked about Cleveland last year. Cleveland, we thought had a chance to be in the finals last year, and then what happened? Right, injuries. They were playing great, and all of a sudden injuries. So, I mean, them in Detroit last night. I don't know if you got to watch that game. It was a great.
Yeah,
game.
I did. I watched a little bit, anyways.
Game. Yeah, it was a great game. But them beating Detroit. I mean, I think. Is Jaylen Brown? I think we could probably talk about it in the next few weeks. But
MVP race?
I think Jaylen Brown is legitimately in the. I don't think he's winning it, but he legitimately is in the MVP conversation for the
top five. Top five.
Yeah, for sure. Like
I agree.
Where the Celtics are at is just all the experts, like the stuff that Paul reads and the people we watch, no one picked the Celtics to do what they're doing this year with Jason Tatum gone and them getting rid of Porzingis and not having, not picking up any.
We certainly did in our pre-show, in our first show.
Great GM. Stevens has turned into a really good GM. They're deep. They can run a lot of people out. Some people you haven't even heard of, but they can play. Yeah. They can play the minutes they need them to play. And a good coach. He's obviously a very good coach.
Yeah,
those guys are willing to play for him. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a great organization. Look at their GM, and I'm glad they got rid of Ainge, and it's really very impressive. And, look at the big Portuguese, the big man, what he did the other night. He just broke the NBA in half in one night. And then you look at Hugo Gonzalez, this 6'8" kid out of Spain. This kid is for real, man. He is passionate and big, and he shut down Wemby by himself.
Yeah, he plays hard.
And so
they do. We talked about it the other night on the phone or just via text. I think it was on the phone.
No, we talked on the phone. Yeah.
The league, it seems to me, and I know that he is a frail-looking build, but they seem to let him get bodied or played very physical Wemby. He doesn't seem to get some of the calls that a lot of people get on the physicality part. Like guys seem to get after him pretty good with no calls.
Well, just because the refs in the last 10 games have changed, the NBA has said, look, let's play them a little more physical because that's what we're going to do in the finals, right? Yeah. In the playoff run, the play-in and then the playoffs. So they're prepping everyone for what everybody wants back 80s, 90s basketball. Right?
The East is getting an awakening here. OKC, I think OKC and the Knicks played tonight, right? So the Knicks played last night in Toronto and beat them. So that should be a good game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm watching.
The Spurs came through the East and have just beat everybody, and not just beat, won a couple games by 1 or 2, have just pumped people. What
did they 12-1 in the last 13 games?
They pumped Detroit. They pumped the Knicks. On national TV they pumped the Knicks, and then they pumped the Sixers last night. They are just feeling good about themselves right now. It's awesome. They're fun to watch.
Very much so.
It would not be a shock to see them in the finals. It just wouldn't be. And the East is, there's some good teams in the East, but I can pick 3, maybe 4 teams in the West that are as good as the Pistons, who are first in the East right now.
Yeah, so the Pistons are first, and they should be there. And Durant, I watched last night, is just exactly what I was hoping for. I was telling you he's going to be a 2020 guy in the NBA, and you're just like, no, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen.
Never said that.
Trust me. Yeah, you did. Yeah, I could actually go back to a couple of shows, and I know that you for sure said it. Look, my memory is excellent, bro, for the most part. Surprisingly excellent. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to talk about a player in a positive way, not about you being incorrect once in a while. And that's okay. I understand you're a proud individual and your ego is enormous. So that's fine. And you have Durant on one of your teams, right?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, there you go. So I was just trying to say he's my favorite big in the NBA next to Joker, right? I love him. And if I could put together a team, that would be my center, right? Even a power forward, because if you had a big man that could shoot threes, if you had a guy like Wemby, can you imagine having a guy like Wemby and Durant as your center and power forward are interchangeable?
Yeah.
They would win everything. And I think Wemby might have that. And, the Pistons might. But right behind the Pistons, Trent, is Boston?
Yeah, Boston, the Knicks, the Cavs.
And the Knicks are playing well. Boston and the Cavs have crept back into it. Toronto. What are they, 6th right now?
They're 5th. They're a couple games ahead of the Sixers. So
right, and the Sixers are in 6th. And who's in 7th right now? Because I think the Sixers, they might slide out.
Orlando and Miami are basically one game or tied with Philly 6th. But Philly's got 33 wins.
Yeah.
Number 10 is Atlanta at 31 and Charlotte at 31. So it's not a guarantee that they're.
Wow, that's going to be fun, man. I'm looking forward to that. Because I don't think Orlando deserves it. By the way, they finally their stiff of center, Carter Jr., turned his ankle apparently, and there's Goga. There's a Goga sighting for the next 3 games.
Oh my! should have picked them up.
Well, I actually almost did today, to be honest. But I have another center that has a game tonight, and I don't want to give that game away where Goga is not playing tonight.
Yeah,
right? So I need the stats.
I'll maybe have to go scoop Goga before you get a chance.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we do this show, and there's a reason why you follow the Waiver Wire Connected, because and you're successful. And you went from bronze to silver to gold. Now you're platinum.
Don't create Connected, so let's simmer down on that. But the Raptors, the problem for the Raptors is this. They are 0-4 against the Knicks, the Pistons, and the Cavaliers. They have not won one game against those three teams.
Yeah.
They're 0-2, 0-3, and 0-4.
That's a good point.
Teams yet. You got to beat those teams. I mean.
Yeah, no, that's valid information right there, bro. You're so right.
But I'd love to see Charlotte get in. I mean, even if they got in.
Yeah, that'd be fun, eh?
Great. But they're a fun team to watch. I hope they get in. I hope they get into the actual regular playoffs. If they don't get in the top six, I hope they win.
Wouldn't that be cool though, eh? Nobody would ever. We ripped them apart for basically half of the season, right?
Well, and we should have. They deserved it.
They were terrible.
It's not like we're not being honest about it. Like they were terrible.
No, we're not malicious. We're just very frank.
Yeah. So, and then in the West, obviously, I mean, Houston's actually been playing better. I mean, OKC and San Antonio, we didn't even need to talk about them. They're just wagons, man. They're just doing their thing. They're just winning games, and they're going to be the top two.
Now they're healthy again, and they've got three really good world-class point guards. I mean, their depth is excellent. I said they need another big, but Jalen, the way he played in the last couple of games when both bigs were done, and everybody loves to hate the 185-pound 7-footer with the Elvis look. Everybody seems to hate him, Chet, and I actually think he's amazing. Do I think he was an all-star this year? Well, he was on the best team in the best league, the best team, the best record.
He's one of the biggest contributors to the best team in the league.
His stats were. There was other guys that had better stats, but understand that when you're on the best team, the past world champion, potentially this year's world champion, and we talked about this last season, Trent. We figured that if they can get a couple more pieces, that OKC could be fighting for a championship for the next decade, almost every year.
I mean, the fact that they were able to go get Jared McCain.
Yes.
I mean, what in the world again, the Sixers?
They gave up a first round, but it's not like you know how many first rounds they have? He's got 16 first rounds.
Yeah, so him coming off the bench for them is just a win. Like, that guy can play. He's a bit flaky for sure.
Yeah, but he is definitely eventually a starting point guard in the NBA. I agree.
The ball, he's a good player, right?
Yeah, me too. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, those two teams are. But Houston's playing better lately. I think Houston's downfall, especially when the games start to slow down, will be what you and I have talked about, not having an actual primary ball handler.
Yeah.
A point guard. I mean, I like Reed Shepherd. He's a good player. But there's going to be guys that are going to be able to get up on him and get up in him when he's got the ball. When the playoffs start, he'll get a bit more physical. I think without that player, it's going to be tough for Houston. I mean, Minnesota is actually, again, Anthony Edwards is a killer. There's no question. I mean, who cares about all the others?
He's an assassin, and he's very confident.
Oh my, he is. He yelled at the bench the other day. I was like, telling him to pass the ball. He shot that shot.
And you know what he said to Coach Finch, who I used to play against in the British Basketball League? No one talks about him. You know what he said to Coach? Coach was yelling and saying, "Oh, make the extra pass." He yells at me. He goes, "Coach, why don't you fucking make the extra pass?" Pardon my French. And he actually said that.
Yes, I know. He was yelling at him.
He was yelling at him. And you know what Chris Finch did? He goes, "I'll take that in consideration." Everybody started laughing, right?
Anthony Edwards asked about it. He goes, "Dude, that's my guy. Like, I love Chris Finch. Like, that's not like people wanted to. The media wants to jump on that stuff and think, oh, there's a rift there. There's no rift there." Like,
no, because Chris Finch he knows he's a great player himself. He's a great player. He was people don't realize he was the NCAA Division II MVP of America in their league when he was playing. And when I played against him, every time we played Sheffield Sharks, when he was a player, it was always tough. They were always one of the teams he had to play perfect basketball to beat. When he became the coach, when I was still playing in the BBL, it was exactly the same thing. He just actually, I think he's a better coach than he was a player. He was a great player, don't get me wrong. But they love him in Minnesota, and I know you really like Minnesota. You've mentioned the last couple of weeks. So
that's my dark horse, man. They're climbing now. They can't even be a dark horse. They're in fourth. But I mean, you look at the West, and you have, Houston has 38 wins, Minnie has 39, Denver has 38, the Lakers have 37, and Phoenix has 35.
Yeah.
I think the six is going to stay the same. I'd be surprised to see the Lakers fall out of the six to the Phoenix.
I hope not.
But those
Ayton needs to play more consistent, though. I tell you that much.
Well, the 3rd to 6th spots in the West are pretty interchangeable right now. They're a game and a half.
That's why I mentioned that.
So it's
Lakers can't afford to miss.
But the fact that Minnesota's climbing, I would not. If Minnesota can get to 3rd, that means they get home court in the first round. That's a raucous place to play. That crowd is into it in Minnesota.
Yeah, very much so.
There's a fun games to watch on TV, especially if you have surround sound. Those games are fun to watch.
Very much so.
Crowd involved and stuff like that. So I would not want to play Minnesota because they play defense. They got all these 7-footers, 6'11" guys. Like, they're long. They can shoot the ball. They got
depth. They play great D.
The West is a dogfight, man. The West.
Oh yeah.
Just flip a coin. It's crazy.
I know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of weeks for sure.
And again, about the All-Star thing with Chet, well, you know what? You could have better numbers playing on New Orleans than Chet Holmgren, but
my point exactly. I understand.
30 less wins. Like, you're not getting. I mean, it doesn't work that way, guys.
No.
The winning part matters to a certain extent.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Too. So,
that's a good point. I mean, and people forget about that. Really, we talk about it often.
I think the Clippers did very well. I know they got rid of Zubac.
Yeah.
I think it's been a perfect fit for our Canadian Mathurin. He has just played great since he got there.
Unfortunate with Mathurin is he's a bit soft and he's got injury problems.
He is. He's 2 injuries, but he's played. He's a really talented player when he's healthy. Like, holy moly.
It's true, and he's a great replacement for. When they gave up on over at the Heat, and the Raptors gave up on him too. The bow-legged 6'3" guy that plays like he's 6'5". But give me a Mathurin over him, and honestly, I think if Mathurin can find a way to play 72 games in a season and do that consistently and grow into his role, he has a really nice future in the Clips. I agree.
He could be. When it comes to fantasy,
and he's Canadian. Well, we gotta pump our Canadians, right?
If you play that many games, he would be a top 50 to top 70 fantasy player. If you
easy in 9 absolutely. Because he does actually contribute. He is a scorer.
A talented player, but he rebounds the basketball
very well for a point guard or shooting guard.
That's the nail on the head. If that guy could play more games, he's a guy you want on your fantasy team because he's going to get stats. He's going to get stocks. He's going to get points, rebound. He's a good player. But
I agree, and what a great comment. However, I won't pick up any one of my 8 teams, and every year I've been doing this since 24 years. If they can't play more than 60 games a year on average, and if you're one of those guys, I won't pick them up anymore. I can't do it. Cameron Johnson. Can you imagine being 6'9" and you get traded from a shit team like the Nets to a potential team that's going to win the World Championship again this year? Yeah. And you're a shooter with a beautiful stroke, but you're soft as butter and you're scared to play the game is amazing. Yeah. And honestly, I know they've got patience with him. Joker just rolls his eyes. He doesn't even look at him. He just rolls his eyes and just forgets about it. Just moves on.
Disappointment.
Yeah, it's just shocking, like to be, man, if I was 6'9" with that kind of a stroke, by the way, my stroke was better than his in my opinion, but I wasn't 6'9", I was more like 5'9" in your opinion.
5'8", yeah. 5'9".
I was 5'11" actually. I legitimately 182.5. I was measured with the London Towers my last year, and it was 5'10" and 5'8", so they just gave me 5'11".
Well, that's why all the home team programs, it's usually 2 inches extra. So
well, they gave me a quarter inch. or a fifth of an inch. And sometimes that's all you need in life.
But I think Golden State. I think Golden State they'll be in the play-in. If they get into the playoffs, they're out in the first round. They're not winning.
Yeah, I mean, Curry's got to come back, and it's got to happen sooner or later. They can't do this jumpers knee shit anymore. It's 20 games now, and there's only 20 games left. So, if you're gonna, and by the way, they're not even in a really good position to get anything in this. Although this year's draft, there's some nice talent.
I think Golden State, that little run is over. It's been over for a couple of years now.
Yeah. Especially when Jimmy went down and Draymond Green is. I don't think he's. They might just get rid of him next year. Seriously, it's just
the West is the top of the West. I mean, the West playoffs when it comes to the top 5-6 teams is, flip a coin. Either any of those teams can beat each other in a 7-game series. They can win 4 games against each other. It's pretty sweet. The playoffs are going to be fun. Sure.
Oh yeah, man. No, I love it. I love it. Trent, let's. Anything else you want to finish up before we wrap it up? We've had a really good episode. We're at about 56 minutes or so.
That's all I got.
Excuse me. Pardon me with the. I don't know what's going on there. Apparently, my wife was telling me in Vancouver, everybody in her job, her business, everybody's got the same thing. It's how are things in Edmonton? You always seem to be relatively healthy. Very rare you get sick, and it's so bloody cold over there. What is it? The air's better in Alberta?
When I get sick, it's usually a hospital visit, and I'm in the hospital the last couple of years.
That's not even funny, but I do appreciate the humor.
It's like a surgery, but no.
Yeah.
You know what? I think the big thing for me is not coaching full time and being around kids, because kids are always sick.
They're germ destroyers.
They're just a germ factory.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's so incredible, and that's why I got sick a couple of times because my new tenants.
I'm going to go to a gym tonight and watch a basketball game. So I kind of
wash your hands and bring some of that. What do you call that?
I don't know what
alcohol stuff.
What you do, but even when my own daughter played, before I started coaching, when she was playing in junior high, actually I was coaching then. She was in junior high. I was coaching at the high school. Yeah. Even when she was playing there, I never sit in the stands with the parents or even my wife. Right. I stand over to the side of the wall and I just want to watch the game and clap a few times and that's about it. I just want to watch the game. Yeah. And I don't want to hear all the other stuff. And so when I go to the game tonight, I mean, I'm not coaching, but half of the kids that are playing, I coach. I'm not sitting in the stands with the parents. I'm standing in the wall behind the scores table, so you can't really see me. You didn't look for me. And I'm just there to watch the game and cheer for the kids. You're
kind of hard to miss when you walk in that gym, bro. Seriously.
Well, it's not that. It's the big thing.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, going for me is going because...
you don't want to get sick, and you want to be left alone so you can focus.
No, it's I know that the kids I coach like seeing me there. Yeah. And it's fun to go see them play, and that they continue to play after you coach them.
You're still hooked, bro. You're still hooked. And hopefully that's going to carry on with Black Dog whenever that happens. But in the meantime, Trent, thank you kindly for another fantastic episode. We certainly appreciate it, and it's effective and it's working, which is really quite amazing. And in the meantime, I just wanted to say thank you. If you enjoy this free content on my YouTube channel at The Canadian Bro Show, there's 3 iterations. The first iteration is All Things Canadian with Pauly and Johnny, and we've done 68 episodes. The second iteration is I love them all equally, but I'm a hoop junkie, is with my good old friend of over about 40 years, I guess now, and fellow hoop junkie, Mr. Trent Rowley. To my left and your right, the co-host of the most and one of the best radio voices I've ever heard. And we're both celebrating. I'm celebrating Air Jordan today. Brooke Riggins gave this to me when he went to Michael Jordan's basketball camp down in I think it was
every day.
California. Well, he celebrates it, but I'm a hoop junkie. I love basketball, not just one player, and I love all players. And if you enjoy this free content and you like basketball, please comment, please share, subscribe. Our new goal of 500 subscriptions is looking closer every day, Trent. Our numbers are I'm not going to boast. Our numbers have accentuated and compounded almost double in the last couple of weeks, which is really extraordinary. And I'm all about pumping content out. This episode's going to be up in the next hour and a half on YouTube, so please check it out. Subscribe, comment, like. In the meantime, my name is Paul Bale. I'm the founder and host of the Canadian Bro Show, and my good old friend of so many decades is Mr. Trent Rowley. And we're very much happy to do this show. And Trent, say hi to your lovely wife and your new puppy. And we will talk to each other probably tomorrow. And in the meantime, everybody, thank you kindly for watching. And we look forward to bringing more content. We're trying to do about three episodes every week. And that seems to be working. So thank you kindly, Trent. I'm taking you out of the photo.
All right.
And wish you well, and have yourself a great day. And thank you for another great episode. Talk to you soon, bro.
Be kind. It's free.
Be kind. It's free. And exactly what I was going to say when Trent, we always like to end an episode on just reminding people gently to be kind out there. It's free. It's easy. You could make somebody's life. You can make somebody's day. You can make somebody's week. Or you could actually make yourself feel good about doing something where you didn't need to feel anything back. Just be kind out there, everybody. The world's a crazy place, and everything we do to be kind, to help somebody out. You don't know what somebody's going through in their day. It means everything to that person, and more importantly, it's good karma. So take care. I appreciate this channel. I appreciate this opportunity. I'm glad it took me only 15 years to get it going. So in the meantime, look forward to next week's episode. Take care and be kind. Hasta la vista. Peace.